This is Ronan, Rocky Mountain Pro Superstar and professional wrestling's only true vampire, and you are listening to RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.
RMP Radio is back on the air. Hi, I am your host, Mr. Fourth Row, and joining me once again back on the show from the RMP commentating team, Lucas Bradwell. Lucas, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Artie. How's it going?
I'm doing just fine. I'm excited about something that we've got on the very near future for Rocky Mountain Pro, and that's the reason why we've got you on. But this kind of catch up the listeners, if since we haven't done a preview show, we're doing a preview show for this upcoming event here at Romero's this upcoming Friday, but we haven't done one since Milestone. But so that we're gonna kind of hit on some things that we may see possibly here at Romero's this month, and kind of maybe peeking into the future to kind of get the listeners here excited about all the shows that Rocky Mountain Pro's got coming up. Like I said, this Friday, and then next few shows here leading up to probably maybe even Shocktober. So it's gonna be great. So what we kind of
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was going to say absolutely. The next few months is going to be really exciting. We've started a brand new season of Charged.
Right.
Only a couple episodes into the new season, and I'm as excited as you are seeing what's going to happen. We already had a couple great episodes that have already aired, so yeah, these next few months are going to be real fun to watch.
Yeah, the so-called fallout from Milestone, and then next big thing that's, like I said, we said on the horizon is Shocktober, but we've got a few stops along the way, as the cliche goes. But some of the things that we should probably talk about that hopefully the listeners are seeing there on the Charged episode is that we've got this partnership in the building with Severino Corrente and Rochelle Riveter. What can we tell the listeners about that?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if this is a relationship that's starting to bond out of necessity for Severino Corrente or what, but he seems to be trying to find a partner, so to speak, to kind of get back on his winning ways. Severino Corrente had a tough loss at Milestone in a long-running feud against Atiba, and I think he's trying to kind of get back to his the King of Charged moniker that he goes by. And Rochelle Riveter, she also had a big loss at Milestone. She lost her Lockett's title to our unholy trinity, or Reagan Grimes, as she had introduced herself in a promo at our last tapings. So this partnership, I think, is something they bonded on with the very season opener of Charge. We saw them in a mixed tag team match, and I think from there, Severino Corrente saw something, and he's been trying to kind of put something together here. So it's going to be interesting to see what these two great singles competitors, one male and female, if they could kind of form a very powerful kind of, I don't know, a tag team or faction. I'm not sure what you would call those two.
Right. Yeah. It is very curious of what are they up to? So, we're gonna have to tune in and see. And like you had mentioned, they had that matchup there with the people that just defeated them in the most recent matches. Atiba and Reagan Grimes. So You know, that was a wild match. I mean, craziness. I mean, but I don't know if I don't know if it's settled between the four of them, the two versus two yet.
I'm not sure either. You would think Atiba basically has said that he's moving on in his career. He's kind of wiped his hands clean of Severino Corrente. I don't think that Corrente
Yeah.
feels the same. And obviously, Rochelle Riveter, she wants to get her Lockett's title back. So maybe it's a little bit of you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see where this leads to.
Yeah, you know, and speaking of that, just a little bit of, I guess, a kind of maybe a side note. Does is Rochelle now regulated down to, dropping down a few spots to the contendership? Because, of course, in Rocky Mountain Pro, we got quite a few other women that would like to get their shot at that.
Right, and at the last set of tapings, we had a very major competitor who stepped into the Rocky Mountain Pro ring, and Christy Janes, the Brazilian Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see that episode in a couple weeks, and there's a lot of Lockettes that feel that they have a claim to that number one contendership. So I don't know that Rochelle Riveter is the number one contender as of right now.
Yeah, it's so true. So it might be, yeah. So she might be thinking, and we can only speculate to what she's thinking, that maybe this this partnership or whatever's happening, forming here with Corrente may help elevate her to just pick up back where she left off there.
That's what I'm thinking. You never know what's in her mind. She's that kind of power tripping mom. She kind of feels that she has a lot of power and stroke in Rocky Mountain Pro, and she's demonstrated that over the last several months with her title reign.
Yeah, and like you said, the moniker, her motto, she should be. She's probably thinking, I'm the number one contender. You must obey me. I say it. It's got to be made true.
Yeah, and I know that there's she's been after Titus, who is basically the spokesperson for the championship committee. Right. I know that she's been putting a lot of pressure on Titus Machiavelli to basically get a number one contendership. I don't know if she's had much success getting what she wants, because, to be frankly honest, Titus doesn't have the power that he once had. Mm-hmm. He's just a spokesperson now, and he doesn't make those calls. It has to be done through the championship committee, who we don't even know who's all members of this championship committee. They're very secretive. So that's another thing to keep an eye on, is exactly what this championship committee is going to do as far as making title matches over the next couple months.
Yeah, and speaking of that, do you agree with me that's probably a good thing that we don't know who it is, because it gives them a level of protection and do what's right when it comes to making those matches for the RMP faithful to see at the events and on the Twitch and everything that we do.
Oh, absolutely. I think that it's a good thing that there's not any kind of shady business going on as far as influence or intimidation, because that's when you're in power. The Wake is probably the best example of they kind of bully their way into getting the situations that they want, the situations that benefit them by kind of intimidation. And now that they don't really know who these members are, they're taking it out on Titus Machiavelli. But like I said, he's just a spokesperson for him. He's only one member of a committee of many. So
yeah, so true. Yeah. So another thing that we had that was a huge return, I guess the best way to explain it here at a milestone 11 was the return of the one, the only, I guess the best way to put it, Stephen Ashburn. I mean, that was a shock, I think, to everybody at the show.
Oh yeah, it was definitely the biggest shock for me. I hadn't seen Steven Ashburn. What, it's been 3 years, almost 4 years. It's been quite a long time. He storied rivalry with Curtis Cole, and Curtis Cole, he demanded a matchup. He didn't have a match at Milestone. He demanded one. Titus, I don't know where he pulled that one from, that rabbit out of his hat, but he got Steven Ashburn to come back, and seemed like a good idea at first. That was a tremendous matchup at Milestone 11, but the the aftermath since then has been not so good, especially for Curtis Cole.
Yeah, Ashburn is still up to his old tricks, basically.
Oh yeah, he's ruthless, and he wants to hurt people. That's always been his MO. He wants to hurt people. He's always had a big chip on his shoulder. That's Steven Ashburn. He just and he's a loose cannon. He's not exactly dealing with the full deck upstairs. So yeah, and I told Titus this on commentary. I think that he's unleashed something that he does. He's not even sure exactly what he's unleashed right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that I think with him being the only Grand Slam champion in Rocky Mountain Pro history, I'm hoping that's the correct term for him. That I think that's just putting that proverbial chip on his shoulder too.
Yeah, I mean, he the guy takes pride in being a Lockett's champion. So he's definitely got some issues with power and ego and whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he wants to be known as the greatest Rocky Mountain Pro wrestler ever. And I believe that I think Curtis Cole is kind of in his way. As far, because a lot of people consider Curtis Cole to be one of the greatest that we've ever had in Rocky Mountain Pro. Curtis Cole is a former Rocky Mountain Pro champion, multiple-time tag team champion, a charge champion. So he's another guy that when you talk about the all-time greats at Rocky Mountain Pro, you got to talk Curtis Cole, and you got Steven Ashburn. And with Ashburn's ego, I think he feels that Curtis Cole is in his way.
Yeah, and that was a great point, because I was just going to ask you about this. You've been with Rocky Mountain Pro, and hence NRW, what was Rocky Mountain formerly known as, and Steven Ashburn was the top guy in those a lot of time in that the NRW days. So do you think it's kind of like a little bit of just the two different guards, the two different, I don't really want to call them two different companies, because it's still the same company, but the two different the flavors of the same, the same scoop, basically we got the old guard, the new guard, and they're just kind of clashing in a weird kind of way.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Ashburn was the very first graduate of what was then known as the Mercury Pro Wrestling Academy. It's now the Al Snow Wrestling Academy, Rocky Mountain. Right. But he was the very first graduate, and he was the quickest competitor to ever become Rocky Mountain Pro champion. He was only in the company, I think, 3 months, 4 months maybe, before he became the champion at Shocktober in 2015. If my dates are correct. So, he had a quick rise, but then, go 2 years later, here comes, less than 2 years later, here comes Curtis Cole, who kind of had a different path. Curtis Cole struggled a little bit at first in his training. He didn't have that quick rise. It took him a little while to get competent in the ring, so where he could compete at a high level. But then once he got in, he was another one that rose pretty quickly. I don't know if you remember when Curtis Cole first made his debut, but he had a very prolific winning streak. In fact, there was a lot of fans that would used to chant Kohlberg because of his winning streak, and he became charge champion just a few months into his career. at milestone 6, I believe. And so these guys have had different paths, but a little bit of similarities as well. And I think that's some of this feud and rivalry that's been going for many years now.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's even I remember at one time that these two when all the craziness of when the I think change of the seasons that happened just a few years ago, when there was not sure who was actually the voice of Rocky Mountain Pro making the matches. There was the Vince Russo, and I think even for example, Alligata was the voice pro tem for Vince Russo at a time. And I remember Ashburn and Cole, they even teamed up for a little bit as the New Balance.
Right.
So do you think and that ended very, very poorly. Do you think that's even kind of adding a couple of logs to this fire?
Oh, absolutely. When those kind of things never go away, especially when your competitors like these two, and you've had a kind of a history of competitiveness, but also there's been some backstabbing, mainly from Stephen Ashburn. Yeah. But you got to think that all of that kind of festers for a long time and never goes away. We saw kind of remnants of that with Yaden and Hoodlum at Milestone 11. You thought that rivalry had been squashed a long time ago, and all it took was one little confrontation at the Colorado Cup, and those two are at it. So that's just that's just kind of how this business is. Those rivalries kind of never really go away.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it can in this particular case, it can be all all peachy, and then all of a sudden there's this is the world that we're in here. There could still be embers there, and all it takes is a little bit of wind per se, and we got a full force fire.
That's absolutely right. And especially when you've got guys that are kind of alpha males. Everyone, these are guys that are top athletes, and they're trying to be the best at what they do. And that's what happens. That's those kind of flammable, combustible elements.
Yeah, and I think that's a great transition here for us. Speaking of somebody that definitely presents himself as an alpha male. Damon Ace has got this thing. He's got a problem with Owen Easton. What should we kind of fill the listeners in on this one?
Damon Ace is he's basically an assassin. Let's put it that way. He's a guy that wants to hurt people. He's trying to take people out. He's no nonsense. And here comes Owen Easton, who's in his rookie year. He's only been, I think, competing for not even 6 months. I think he started March was his debut, maybe February. I don't remember. But Owen Easton, he's kind of a little bit different character. He's fun loving. He's got great energy. He's got this moniker Owen gets it going, and a lot of this, and I'm not sure if Damon Ace takes exception to that, but Damon Ace seems to have put a target on Owen Easton, and Owen Easton is he's a hungry young guy who wants to prove himself, and he wants to become charge champion. So there's those two things going, and you've got this guy Damon Ace who just wants to hurt people. That's probably not a good thing for Owen Easton, and we know that there was a house show that we had just a month ago, and it was a very grueling matchup. Owen Easton damn near won the charge championship. And in fact, he never officially tapped out. It was a disqualification because Damon Ace refused to break the submission hold when Owen Easton got to the ropes. Owen Easton put on a hell of a show, and I I honestly think that Owen Easton's got enough heart. Does he have the skill to beat Damon Ace? That's the question, and I think you're going to see more of this rivalry coming up.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. I mean, and what you kind of mentioned too about Damon Ace, kind of no nonsense, and he may be you may be thinking that he's trying to psych you out with all the quote unquote antics or things that he's doing, but he's really not. He really does want to you to realize that he's going to back up with everything that he does do.
Absolutely, and he's a trained MMA fighter as well. He's definitely skilled. It's just that they're two different characters. Damon Ace is no nonsense, and he looks like he's an assassin. Owen Easton looks like he's the kid you grew up with right next door. That might have delivered your newspaper to you. So I think that's just the difference of the two.
Yeah, and you think Owen Easton's gonna have to worry about the wake lurking around here with this thing that got going on here with them too?
Well, you always have to worry about the wake. It's always something that that's the whole reason I think that the wake is formed, is because they wanted to keep the power. Dustin Urich wanted to keep the power and the title. So he recruited Damon Ace, and it's for the last year, about the last year, they've been almost unstoppable. And then when they brought in J.K. Pop, it made him even more unstoppable. And you always have to worry about that. But what I do like, and that's going back to the championship committee, lately they've been, especially at Milestone 11, this whole thing of not letting the factions, not letting the partners come out during the matches has been a big coup, I think, for Rocky Mountain Pro, at least as far as fairness goes.
Right. Yeah, I would totally agree with you. So, and I don't know if it's an unfortunate thing, but because they did put that out there on these matches, I mean, we still have the wake in power. So they kind of proved it's like, yeah, we'll see what you did, and here we go, we still won.
Yeah, you got to give it to them. I had doubts that they were going to be able to pull off a clean sweep at Milestone 11, and they did. Whether you like it or not, they all won their matches relatively clean. There's nothing that I saw that was out of anything out of the playing field. So I think that you got to give them their credit. They are right now the most dominant force in Rocky Mountain Pro.
Yeah, so true. And then kind of speaking of a little bit more of the kind of wake and kind of things related to them, we should maybe talk about this little thing with Bud Bellflower. If I could talk real well there, the alliteration sometimes is difficult, but he's got a hold of those belts, the tag belts.
Yeah, well, Titus was able to get him back right before the last charge taping. But yes, little shenanigans happened at the last house show that I was talking about. He took the belts, even though his team of Mr. Happy and Munster 9 lost their championship matchup. He took the belts, got that. I heard he went to. I don't know how far he got. I heard he was up in Longmont with those belts. Who knows where? I don't know where he went, but he was with those belts for 2 or 3 weeks, and he finally was forced to give those belts back. I don't know if that was just a ploy, maybe a message sent to J.K. Pop that we could take the belts when we want. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish with that, but obviously his guys were not going to be the rightful owners of those belts. But you never know what Bud Bellflower's up to. I don't know what goes on in his head.
Yeah, because there's things that he says, he mentions, and I'm like, that ain't right. That's not right. That's not correct. What are you thinking, bud?
Yeah, he's a different character, that's for sure. But he's a very wily guy, very
Yeah.
very cagey, and so I would not underestimate him if I was J.K. Pop or any of the other opponents that the three ring circus will be facing over the course of time.
Yeah, yeah, so true. What else should we fill in the listeners of what they can, be looking forward to at possibly this upcoming show, and like I said, the stops that we may have coming up all the way up to Shocktober, because that's our next big event.
Right. Well, what I'm really kind of curious to see is how Balaam Lynx is going to be looking over the next few months because, as you know, Balaam Lynx is the number one contender. He won the Colorado Cup. He's the number one contender to the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a title shot at Shocktober. I'd like to see how crisp, how good he's going to be leading up to the Shocktober, because I'm a little concerned. He's had some injury problems. He had that hip problem. He's had some some issues with his lower body over the past several months. Can he get 100% by Shocktober? And he's going to have to be at a very high level if he's going to beat the longest reigning champion of all time in Dustin Urich.
Right. Yeah, and then we do have a little bit of time before Shocktober, so certainly I think one mindset that the wake could be having is let's make sure Balaam isn't ready for Shocktober.
Yeah, that's and with the wake, that's always a possibility, especially when you got a guy like Damon Ace, who's an assassin. I mean, that's basically what his job has been, is to take out guys that are a threat to Dustin Urich. And he's done a very good job of it over the past,
many times on multiple occasions.
Right. He took out Dustin Urich's former tag partner in Zero Cool, who we saw as coming with this new name, RJ Kiernan.
Yeah.
And that's another thing to watch is we heard that Dustin Urich said that he's not a member of the Wake. He's just he's just kind of somebody that's maybe a little bit of an associate, but he's not a official member of the Wake. So that'll be another thing to kind of keep an eye on is how that relationship is going to be.
Yeah, when they're going to be calling in this associate. I guess it's when it's not good enough for the Wake to handle themselves, maybe.
Right. Yeah, or if they don't want to get their hands dirty,
Yeah. It wasn't me, as the song goes,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that I really am interested in is we haven't seen him defend the title yet, but I'm expecting him to be defending his title soon, and that's our new Twitch champion, Oren Veit, who this is a kind of a big this was a big accomplishment for him becoming the Twitch champion. I know that he kind of wanted to shed some of that stigma that he's just a deathmatch wrestler. And I think he proved himself at Milestone that he's much more than that. He's a great technical wrestler as well. So to see him defend his Twitch championship over the next couple months, that's going to be something to kind of keep an eye on as well.
Right. Yeah. And do we know if the Twitch championship will be defended at this upcoming show at Romero's on Friday?
I am told he is scheduled to be there. So okay. Yes, and as you know, we always, if the champion is able to fulfill his duties, he is supposed to defend his title at every taping. So that's is what is expected of him. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, me too. Yeah, because like you mentioned, and you know, and he is you know, definitely put that out there on the social media that this you know was he was extremely excited and proud to have won this championship, and you know, I think he's going to take some pride in defending it as well.
Absolutely. The Twitch Championship has really been kind of uh, the new title that has a lot of prestige to it now, because it's a title that is seen by a very large audience. You know, it's some of the large audiences that we get on Twitch at times is more than what we get at a charge taping, or you know, that's people that see it on YouTube. So
Yeah,
it'd be a very big deal, and gets a lot of eyes on you.
true. Yeah, very true. So what else do we, you know, have coming up? You know, maybe in particular for this upcoming show on Friday at Romero's, or anything else that maybe you want to clue in the listeners to make sure that they do go to, if they're capable, to go to the live shows that we have here in the area, and then of course also to tune in Twitch when we do our recordings live, as as Bruce Williams would say.
Right. Yeah, recording live from the Bradwell Manor here. Anyway, so yeah, we've got like we got the charge tapings coming this Friday at Romero's. 8 o'clock is bell time. I believe doors open at 7. I'm not quite sure. I haven't heard about a. We're going to definitely do a pre-show. I'm not sure if we're going to do a 2-hour pre-show like usual, or we might just do an hour, but I know we will have a pre-show on Twitch, which will be free. But if you want to be there to see the whole charge tapings, and you're not going to be able to be there at Romero's, you do have to have a Twitch subscription to our Rocky Mountain Pro Twitch channel. So, but it's only $4.99. That gets you a month's worth of content on our Twitch channel. All kinds of cool stuff going on there. You get all the charged tapings. You can watch them before they come out on YouTube. So that's a big thing. Or in all of our other platforms. So you got to be the first one to see the charge tapings, and I believe, if you subscribe before Friday, you will also get our next set of tapings as well, because I don't think that'll quite carry over for the whole month. So you get 2 sets of charge tapings for 1 month subscription. So that's a good deal. And remember, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link your Amazon Prime membership to get a subscription to our Twitch channel.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I also too, of course, want to listeners do push, if you are in the area, you do want to come out to some live pro wrestling. It's always a great time, and Romero's to me is kind of like the most wild, unique place, one of the ones that we go to on a regular basis, and normally we are there on a Saturday, but this time around on a Friday, so who knows what's going to happen to this one. So I would implore the listeners, if you're listening to this, if you're on the fence about coming to the show, I would say definitely come to the show this Friday.
Right. Well, Friday nights, everyone's had a long work week. They want to blow off some steam. What better way to blow off steam than to go to a outside venue, a bar? You can have drinks. You can see guys and girls beat the hell out of each other. It's just great entertainment, and yeah, to get your weekend kicked off the right way, you need to be there at Romero's K9 Club.
Yeah.
So make sure, and if you get tickets, go to the rmpwrestling.com, go to our website, get your tickets, Eventbrite. I think $15 will get you ringside.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's great deal, and it's a great atmosphere. You mentioned it's outdoors. Outdoor venues are I think are great. I love outdoor venues, especially now that we're getting into the season where we'll start to be cooling off a little bit, and we're only going to have a couple more months to be able to do this before the weather gets turns. You know how Colorado weather can get, Artie. So yeah, get out here now while you can, and enjoy the Colorado weather. Enjoy great wrestling at a unique venue.
And another thing too is that we are now at the time of the year here in Colorado. Bell time is at 8:00 for this show on Friday, and that is pretty much exactly when the sun is setting right now in the calendar year. So you're gonna get there when doors open. Visit the bar, get yourself some refreshments, you get settled in your seat. That sun's gonna set, and that's gonna give you that psychological thing in your thing. Oh, it's getting close to bell time. It's getting close to watch the wrestling. So.
Right. It gives new meaning to the term Friday Night Lights. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So true. All right. Hey, well, Lucas, I think that might be a fantastic exclamation point to put on this for the listeners. But before I do let you go, of course, I want to thank you for coming on. Remind the listeners if they want to follow you out there on the social media and everything like that. You want to interact with you, especially since you're commentating there on the Twitch for the broadcasts and things like that. Where could they?
You can find me. I'm most active on Twitter, so you can find me on Twitter at RMP Encyclopedia. But I'm also on Twitch. Don't have any content yet. I'm gonna be working on that. So I am on there quite a bit. You can interact with me. Always and hey, if you're at the shows, I'm always glad to talk to the fans, talk to the RMP faithful. And just real quick, I have mentioned this before, but I'm kind of doing some more things behind the scenes with Rocky Mountain Pro. So as far as the producing standpoint, it's another thing that I've got. So I'm staying real busy in case anybody's wondering.
Awesome, that's great. Oh, well, once again, thank you for coming on to the show. And, of course, I'll be seeing you and hoping to see all the listeners at Romero's on Friday.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
A big, huge thank you to Lucas Bradwell for coming on to RMP Radio once again and talk about this upcoming Friday at Romero's, what we possibly could see in our matches, kind of everything that's been going on with Rocky Mountain Pro as of late. Hope you guys are all watching and keeping up to date, and I hope to see you guys all this Friday. So, speaking of that, you want to get tickets to the event, head over to rmpwrestling.com, click on the events link. You'll be able to purchase tickets right from there. Now, if you're not in the area, you of course can still, of course, watch us on twitch.tv/Rocky Mountain Pro. Like Lucas mentioned, if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you do get a Twitch subscription in your Prime membership automatically. All you got to do is link that to your Amazon account, and if you already have one, it's a nominal fee. Like he said $4.99. I think it might be $5.99. I'm not positive on that, but still, whatever the price, well worth to support Rocky Mountain Pro and the guys and the gals in their ring, and we would greatly appreciate it if you do subscribe to us there on Twitch. Also, of course, I would be amiss. You want to support your favorite Rocky Mountain Pro superstars, head to our merch store on the website at rmpwrestling.com, or if you're an Amazon app or amazon.com, do a search for Rocky Mountain Pro. You'll get a lot of different choices to choose from. If you're at the each and every one of these events locally here in the area, hit up the merch table. They've got all kinds of great things there that may not be available online, so you've got your in-person exclusives per se. So that would be greatly appreciated by the guys and the gals as well if you can support them there. Reminder, of course, when these after these episodes do get recorded for after these live events, they get put onto an episodic form, and you can view those at our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Rocky Mountain Pro, and of course you can also find those on the Fight TV as well. Reminder to follow us out there on the social media. The account, The Rocky MTN Pro, wants you to follow that out there on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. And let me phonetically once again spell that to you. That's The Rocky Mike Tango November Pro. And thank you all for listening to this episode of RMP Radio, where pro wrestling is elevated.